Welcome to the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness.
We are your hosts, Cassie and Chelsea. I'm Cassie, a single mom living with a chronic illness who is extremely passionate about living a full and happy life.
And I'm Chelsea, a mindset coach that has a passion for helping people learn to put themselves first and be the best version of themselves each and every day.
We came together to create Spoonies Unite, an uplifting community that offers resources, guidance, and support so you can live your best life while giving you the space to be yourself, be heard, and feel understood.
This show is not only for those who live with a chronic illness, but their friends, family, spouses, and just anyone else existing on the earth. There's a little something in here for everyone.
Thank you to our patrons for your continued support making this possible. If you love our show and want to get some extra goodies, go to patreon.com/TheRealSpooniesUnite. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of the real life show, Living with a Chronic Illness. Today, Cassie and I are going to talk about how COVID-19 has changed our lives a little bit. We gave an update a couple weeks ago, but as everything with this virus seems to be changing rather quickly, even the update we gave 2 weeks ago is not completely accurate anymore. And so we wanted to come on here and share how the developments are affecting us, how we are trying to make our way through the situation in the best way possible to maybe give you guys some ideas. I'm going to just hopefully let you know that you're not alone in how you are feeling. So, since we all last spoke about COVID-19, the biggest change that I know Cassie and I are experiencing is the state of Kansas is under a stay-at-home order through, I think the state is through the 19th, but our county that we are in is through like the 24th, I want to say.
Of April.
Yes. And so today is the 30th of March that we're recording this. So we've got like
2 weeks after our last recording about coronavirus.
And so we got like a solid month of this left. And another thing is that school has gotten canceled for the rest of the year. And so I know that has affected you, Cassie, quite a bit.
Yeah, so my son is in 6th grade here in Wichita, and so school has been canceled for the rest of the school year. The last day of school would have been, I think it was like May 22nd or something like that. And so they've just started some online learning today. And so they actually said it was like optional online learning when I was listening to when I was listening to like the voice yesterday on speaker, and my son was like, Mom, did that say optional? And I was like, no, it's not optional. And so I'm a little confused by that. But then when he got onto his like Google Classroom stuff, I don't think it is optional. It's all a little bit confusing. So we are navigating how to do school at home. And he's going to have, I guess it'll probably be about 7 to 8 weeks of that. And then school would be officially out for summer. That's going to be pretty interesting. He's in honors classes, and I don't know if that's going to be done any differently than the regular classes. I don't know. It's just going to all be, we're in new territory here. We're learning. He's also doing virtual piano lessons because he does piano, and that's actually been going like super great. And we're trying to get him outside for PE and other physical activities. He's helping doing some chores outside. He told me earlier that he found there's an app that Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor on the Marvel movies, has like workouts or something, and he's offering 6 weeks. Apparently, he said that he's like, Chris Hemsworth is offering 6 weeks free of his workouts on this app or something. And I was like, dude, you should do it. That's perfect for your PE every day. So we're going to look into that too and see what that's about, because I think that's kind of fun, like to do Thor's workouts.
Yeah, that's super fun. I want to do Thor's workouts. I'm going to have to look into that too.
I hope that Thor is teaching the workouts.
That would be the important part of that. If Thor's not teaching them, then
I don't want to do it.
Then I'm good. I'll do my own workouts.
In fact, if any of the Marvel characters are teaching workouts, I would do any of them.
Yes.
Black
no
Panther,
discrimination
Chadwick
here.
Boseman. I mean, Chadwick and I are supposed to be getting married soon. My son knows all about that, but he hasn't been returning my messages lately. I'm not sure what that's about. Anyways, so big changes here. We have been home now for 2.5 weeks. This Thursday, so 3-4 days from now, will be 3 weeks for us that we've been in self-isolation. I have gone to the store twice in that time, and that's it. We've picked up food, I think, twice. And so we've really been keeping it home. I think I said on the last one that I live with my 90-year-old stepfather, and I am immune compromised. I'm on Stelara for my Crohn's disease, which is an immune suppressant. And so if you hadn't heard our previous episode, that's kind of where we're at. So we're trying to take things pretty cautiously. Although I'm like learning that maybe we should be like wiping off or spraying off our mail. What about like the packages of our foods that we're buying? I'm beginning to feel like those are steps we need to be taking that we weren't maybe taking before. So that's going to be a change that we implement starting today. We're going to be doing that. So definitely like message us and let us know if those are precautions that you're taking or what you're doing about like the food that you're buying or your mail, your packages. I mean, I saw something about like your shoes can be tracking it. So I know. So I think that kind of brings us nicely into like anxiety. So, how's the anxiety and stress been for you, Chelsea? Like you talked about having a lot of anxiety on the last episode. We're 2 weeks later now. How have you been coping?
So it's kind of, I feel like, hard for me to describe my anxiety levels because before the stay-at-home order came out, which was almost a week ago, my anxiety was pretty freaking high. I think a lot of it was because I was just waiting for that stay-at-home order, to be completely honest. And so I felt like I was kind of in this limbo where the Pilates studio that I was working at, we were still open. We were taking every precaution we possibly could. We were letting our clients in the side door. I don't know how many times I sprayed every piece of equipment and every prop that we use and every door handle and railing and anything someone possibly could have touched with bleach every day. I don't know how many times I washed my hands every day, but we were doing everything we could. But I was still, I think, really anxious about what if I was a carrier? What if I give it to one of my clients on accident? I mean, and I was going from home to work. I wasn't going anyplace else. So the chances of me getting exposed other places were low, but I still had that anxiety. And I think just like waiting of, well, how are these virtual classes going to work? That was just weighing on me. So in all honesty, when the stay-at-home order came, I was like kind of relieved because one, I felt like it was the best decision for the safety of our community. But then I also then meant like I have been working in my office teaching virtually for the past almost week, and not having to go into the studio, not having to worry about interacting with people face to face definitely took some of the stress away. But at the same time, while that anxiety decreased, there's also been a very large increase in cases in our community, and that community spread fear is still there for me. And so trying to make sure that I don't go down that really scary rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, everyone that I know is going to get sick. Everyone that I care about is going to get sick. It's going to be awful. And just trying to focus on we're taking steps to being healthy. I am going to be really surprised if by the end of this I'm not completely OCD and a complete germaphobe, because I've been sanitizing things. I'm still trying not to touch my face, even as I said that I was kind of touching my face and pulling my hands away, but trying to do that, sanitizing my phones, my cups, doorknobs, handles, light switches, anything we touch at least once a day. My fiance is a carpenter, and so he's at the moment still going to work because construction is considered essential. But he works in a shop that's like 3,000 square foot, and he's generally like one of maybe two people that's there. And so he's pretty isolated, but I'm still like nervous when he comes home. And so like we've talked about taking our shoes off and leaving them in the garage. And then we've also talked about like whenever we get home, we like immediately change clothes and take a shower, like just to be super cautious, because I am so on team better safe than sorry. And just trying to kind of take those precautions. We've also been like, well, do we need to wipe down our packages? Do we need to wipe down our mail? Like, we got our delivery of dog food for our 2 big dogs over the weekend, and my fiance opened the packages outside. He handed me the bags of dog food and I wiped them down with Lysol.
Mm-hmm.
And then we immediately put the boxes in the trash, just because, again, I guess better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt after today. Like I was talking with a couple people and hearing about post office employees testing positive for coronavirus, which made me feel like, oh my God, and so I did tell my stepdad, I was like, when we get the mail now, we need to definitely like open the mail, go through it, and then wash your hands right away. But even having said that, from when I got back from the store earlier, I'm now feeling like we need to just like go ahead and wipe off the mail and see. And so, yeah, I mean, I know what you mean by the stay-at-home order helping some of the anxiety. I think now it's like our community as a whole here is taking this seriously and doing more. And we have had one death as of today in our county, but our numbers tripled over the weekend. And so, yeah, I think there's a little bit of stress relief from the fact of like action is being taken.
People just stay home.
Yeah,
for the love of all things good, just stay home.
I know, it's fine.
If you don't have to leave your house, don't leave your house.
Don't leave. Exactly. Just do it. It's going to be fine.
It's not about you. It's about the community.
Mm-hmm. I went through a huge like anxiety thing last week. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was like this anxious freaking mess. I was super stressed. All I could focus on was like the future. I was so worried about like future plans, future work, future trips, like the economy, like everything, and what we're going to be like when we come out of this. Like I was just so caught up in the future. And I actually had an online session with my counselor, and she was just like, everything is uncertain for the future, the near future, looking at like 3 months from now, 2, 3, 6 months from now. And she's like, all of us are living in this uncertainty. It's really, you need to have a little bit more mindfulness about the present and live in the present and focus a little bit more on that and not worry so much right now, because there's not really a lot that we can do right now about, like the future for our work and travel and stuff like that. So that kind of helped, because I was feeling a little bit stuck and trapped, and I don't know, I definitely was feeling very anxious for a few days last week. But focusing on the present has been good. And I definitely have like been a little bit envious of all of those people out there who are like, my house is the cleanest and most organized that it's ever been. Because I'm like, okay, I really want to be prioritizing that, because that sounds like really satisfying and feel like it would be feeling really good. But I have not been making time for that. My house looks no cleaner than it normally is.
Oh my gosh. I completely feel that. Also, if anyone hears any funny sounds in the background, it's probably my dogs barking. Sorry.
I didn't hear them,
okay,
but
if anyone does, it's Moose is just barking up a storm right now. Maybe the post is getting delivered. Who knows? But I've had some friends that are like, oh my God, I'm so bored. Like, I've already cleaned everything. I've already organized everything. I don't know what to do. And I know I've been sitting here. I'm like, I've been playing the absolute fucking catch up for the past 2.5 weeks. And I finally felt like over the weekend I had a chance to like catch my breath and just have a little bit of time to like take care of myself and have like a semi-relaxing weekend. And I mean, I am beyond grateful that I still have a job, because so many people out there in my field don't have that. and there's been so many gyms and studios have been closing. So just the fact that I can still teach my clients in whatever way, I'm so happy about. But like, in all honesty, my schedule hasn't changed. I just do it now from the four walls of my office versus going to a studio.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the case for a lot of people, because I've talked to several of my clients who are doing all of their usual like office work from home, and
Mm-hmm.
they have a regular lunch break. Otherwise, they're just working. And so they're like, I can't fit actually much more into my day. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
keep up with like what my regular life was like. And so I think that there is definitely like a big handful of people out there who life is like totally different, staying home, not working, having the kids home. And then there's a bunch of people who life isn't much different, even if you are working from home. And then, of course, there's a whole multitude of people who are not working from home right now. And so I think if you are finding that you have extra time, you don't have to fill it with like productivity. It doesn't have to be the house is going to be the cleanest it's ever been. I need to like make the most of this time by doing all the things, all the projects, the honey-do list, like it also could be a great opportunity to rest and reset
Mm-hmm.
and take some much needed time that we as a society and like human culture, especially in America, like these days, we do not take the time for ourselves to chill like we should. Like I was just watching a movie last night with from like the 90s, and it was talking about the culture in Paris and how they work really hard. They work just as hard as like a New Yorker, but they know when to stop and enjoy life and live and not just work. They know how to live too, and they make that a priority. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true, because there are so many Europeans that work super, super hard as everybody. But like, they also know the importance of living and like
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the small things in life too, like smelling the roses and stuff. So I think it's a nice time that we can, take that time for opportunity and resting.
I totally agree, because I feel like, I mean, how many times do you say, oh man, I wish I had just one afternoon to be able to just chill out and take care of myself? Well, guess what? You do now.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're working your regular job, your life hasn't changed that much. Well, your weekend probably now is going to have some more free time. Like, you're not going anywhere. You might leave to go to the grocery store and pick up some takeout, but like, you're not going over to a friend's house. Like, you might have a virtual happy hour. You might talk to people on the phone, but like, you're going to have a lot of time just in your house. And so if you're like, man, next time I have that Saturday afternoon where I don't have to do anything, I want to take a bubble bath, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, do it. Like,
Yeah.
this is the time to really, I think, just give your mind, body, and your soul what it really needs. And if you're someone who you thrive off of organization and your house being unorganized has been stressing you out, well, then take the time to organize your house. But if you're someone like me who organized chaos is your normal life, then that's probably not how I'm going to spend a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I
and
like to
like,
create stuff more. Like, I like to put out
mm-hmm.
content and write and make videos. And so that's probably what I would do more with my free time now than organize my closet, even though it could use it.
Mm-hmm. I know mine could definitely use it too. And I sort of thought about it too this weekend, that it's like, how many of us, a month ago before all this really blew up, how many of us were sitting there like, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired all the time. I mean, I know that I had a lot of conversations with friends, clients, family members, and that was feeling like kind of a common theme of like, I'm just tired. I just like need a break. I need a staycation. I just don't feel like I have time to myself or to do, just to like watch a show or read a book. And so maybe we can look at this as somewhat of a gift for you to have that time. And if you are feeling like, if you're one of those people that was just feeling tired, then yeah, don't try and just like clean out your closet and organize your entire house right now. Freaking
Rest
rest.
first.
Like,
Rest.
sleep
It's
in
good.
if you can, or binge watch,
Tiger
whatever.
King.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like just freaking chill. And so that kind of goes into nicely like what Chelsea and I have each been doing with some of our extra spare time, or how we've noticed that life has changed over the last 2 weeks. I think the biggest things that I have noticed are my routine is like totally off. I've always been one to go to bed between like 9 and 10 at night and like 6 in the morning. That's been my routine for several years. I liked it. I'm a morning person. I don't need to be up late. Now I'm going to bed at like midnight or 1 a.m. and I'm sleeping till like between 9 and 10 and even 11 in the morning. And part of me is like, I need this sleep. I need this rest. It's fine. I don't need to change my routine right now. But another part of me is like getting driven crazy by the fact that I am like so off. So I started getting up at 9:30, and I'm going to like bump that back by like half an hour every few days to get back onto like an earlier schedule. That's one big thing I've noticed a difference of. So I don't really have any like morning or nightly routine right now. And I've always lived with good morning and nightly routines. So I'm kind of missing that. But I have been exercising more with teaching virtual classes like you are, Chelsea, and taking virtual classes. I'm finding that it's actually been easier for me to make the time to work out, do Pilates, do bar. I feel a little bit more motivated. I have a bit more energy for exercising. So that's been really fun. I'm like so sore. Even getting up and down out of my office chair is like a lot of work right now. My quads and my butt are so sore. And so that's like a good feeling. And yeah, Chelsea, like what have you been up to the last couple of weeks with a little bit more extra time?
So I think the biggest thing that I kind of decided that I needed to do was I want to document this time to remember it down the road. So like
Ooh.
I like to find meaning as much as I can in different situations. I love knowing this why behind it. And I'm a big believer in like the universe is always working for our highest good. It's always there to help us out. And this entire situation had threw a little bit of a wrench in my like, the universe is there to help us. Because I was like, how the hell is this helping us? But trying to find a little bit of positivity in it is like, okay, well, I will never be ungrateful or complain about having to go to the grocery store again.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, like the current reality is one, it's kind of scary to go into a grocery store. Like even if places are taking a lot of precautions, what could you potentially pick up while you were there? Like, could you pick up the virus? Could you like be exposed to it? And is the stuff you need even going to be in stock? That like those are just things that I think so many of us took for granted for so long. The safety and security of being able to leave your house, be able to go to the gas station without being scared. And so those are things that I really want to make sure that I remember. And so I took time last night, since I really hadn't had time or hadn't had the energy and taken the time for the past few weeks. I sat down and wrote out my experience and what I remembered from yesterday all the way back until March 11th, which was my last kind of normal day for me personally. That was kind of that afternoon was when I started to see what was actually like really happening around the world, since we are a little sheltered in the middle of the country here in Kansas. So I think it took a little while for us to really get on our radar at the level that it needed to. And so I wrote down like the fears that I'd had, the thoughts that I had had, things that I wanted to remember from that time. And so I really wrote that down. And I want to keep writing those things down because in 20 years, I want to be able to look back and remind myself like, hey, it is a really, really cool thing that you can go get gas for your car and not be scared about picking something up at the pump. Or I also want to be able to pass on those lessons to my kids and be like, hey, the reason why we're so grateful for the little things, the reason why we try to slow down in life and enjoy being able to sit in the sun and have time together is because of this experience that like we're having now. And I think that the best way that we can handle this situation, besides trying to keep yourself and everyone around you safe, is to really take this time to like reflect and make the best out of this pretty shitty situation. And I think noticing what you're grateful for in your daily life is really, really important. Like I was able to sit outside for a couple hours today in the sun while I was working. And I was like, well, it's really crappy that I have to work from home. I'd rather be able to spend people face to face, but I'm thankful that I can do that on a nice day, sitting outside, getting some sunshine.
I think that's wonderful. And I think it's wonderful that you're noticing the little things, like to be grateful to get gas and go to the grocery store without living in fear. I mean, my stepdad, who, like I said, he's 90, and he was saying that the last time he remembers things being this way was during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when he was a kid, and I mean, that's pretty amazing. So those are things that we need to notice and be grateful for moving forward. And like you said, like writing down and journaling so you can remember this time. I think that's really amazing too. And that kind of inspires me that to do that, because you're right. This is a time that's going to impact all of our lives and the world forever. I mean, this is going to change the world.
Oh yeah.
It already has. Yeah. And I think like over the weekend, I definitely had a big moment of like, okay, this time is here. It's happening. We're going to be home for the next 30 days. And when this time is over, how am I going to feel like I regret? I was really worried that I was going to regret how I used that time. I was worried about, I don't know, having a missed opportunity or something. And, so yeah, I tried to make a few changes so that, over the next month I could really use the time well, and that I wouldn't be filled with regret afterwards. And I had to decide, what does that mean for me? Like, how would I feel fulfilled using that time? And writing my book was part of that. So I've started working on that, which is like terrifying to say out loud into the world. I'm not telling any of you what it's about yet, but that's been great. I've been writing and it feels like really good. It's such a great outlet. And I feel really grateful for having the time and energy and motivation to be working on that. I've really been working on being more present in the moment. And there is a quote by Buddha that I want to say, which is, be where you are, otherwise you will miss your life. That was kind of inspiring to me, because I was, like I said, I was so caught up in the anxiety of the future. And there was also this other quote that I saw the other day online. You guys might see it too, and I'm going to tell it to you. So picture this. It's late 2020. Our houses are clean and organized. We're more connected in our relationships than ever before, because all we've been able to do is communicate. We've been forced to focus on self-care, and so we're thriving. We come out of our houses, the world reopens, and we are kinder, more loving, more grateful, more understanding, and more appreciative of the beauty of life and human connection than ever before. And together we rebuild the world intentionally and sustainably. Like, aw, I want to do that. And so, yeah, that's what I've been kind of focusing on, like you said, like knowing that, we can take this time as a little bit of a gift. And what do we want to take after all of this? What do we want to hold on to? You've been focusing a lot on gratitude, and I would like to have a little bit more focus on gratitude. It's so good for you. I think I got a little bit caught up in like just coping with anxiety and then just fear of like regret. And so, which I don't know, what all that means, but
I think it's easy at this point in time of like, I've seen lots of posts on social media where it's like, well, the last recession is when all these amazing companies started to pop up. Or like, I think, I can't remember, like during the Black Plague, there was some like big scientific or artistic thing. I can't even remember what it was specifically was, but someone created something really cool during the Black Plague that we still talk about now. And so I've seen lots of things of like, well, what are you going to do with this time? And I think that's a lot of pressure for people, because I know for me, dealing with anxiety and allowing myself to feel safe is, the number one priority. You can't do anything else if you don't feel safe. And so I've been trying to manage my anxiety, and as my anxiety has been able to kind of go down through focusing on gratitude, breathing, meditation, really slow moving, gentle yoga, EFT tapping, just listening to kind of different some videos, journaling, kind of stuff like that. That's when I think when your mind calms down a little bit more, that's when you get to kind of look at, okay, well, what do you want to get out of this time? Do you want it to be rest? Is that what your body, your mind, your soul needs? Or do you need it to be something that's a little bit more like, oh, there's this project I've been putting off for months or maybe even years. Now I'm going to actually do it. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong to that. It's what do you need? And one thing I've been kind of asking myself is, because I've been in like the midst of building my business and launching this podcast with you and just trying to create things to help the world, I don't want to look back and been like, oh, I basically put my goals and my dreams on pause for however many weeks or months that this lasts. I want to say that I did the things that I could do to still keep taking action towards my dream. And that's kind of by me being able to stay in a good mindset and share that with others, I'm taking those steps. I don't want to look back and be like, oh, I didn't do anything, but I also want to make sure that I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. Hopefully that balance makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think that's exactly it that people need to think of is balance. Because I totally know what you mean. I definitely want to be working towards goals and dreams. But I also have been trying to remind myself that like I was cutting back my work schedule just before this happened. I dropped my clients in half because my health was so iffy. And so it's like, okay, I can't fill it with doing all the things or organizing and cleaning the house and burning myself out with everything when I just had cut my client list down. Mm-hmm. Like what a gift to try and prioritize my health and eat well and rest and chill. And so it's all about balance. And like, I know that I have friends or family members out there that like I talked to a friend who was like, you know, I just can't be a bum during this time. So I was riding my bike and I just cleaned the bathroom and I went and did this and I went on a walk and then I was scrubbing the kitchen floor. And I'm like, okay. And a week ago, you were telling me that you're just so tired all the time and you just need a break. And like, here's an opportunity to have that too.
It's okay to be bored.
Yeah.
Like, I think that as a society, we tend to be like, I can't be bored. Like, I always have to be doing something productive. Even like self-care is turned into this like being productive thing.
Yeah.
And well, we all just need to chill a little bit.
And like, just be. Mm-hmm. Like, there is something so beautiful about just being. Like, just sit there. If you have someone that you live with, just sit there with them, listen to some music, and just like be with each other or just like talk to each other. Mm-hmm. You know, like God forbid that we just sit and like talk and just be. And so, or if you're on your own, you know, just be, just think, go sit outside. Like you said, sit outside, be in the sunshine, watch the clouds pass, mm-hmm. you know, look at what different shapes the clouds make. Just freaking be. This is the time to enjoy the small things, the little things, and, you know, look inward also. It's like you said, Chelsea, like it's an introvert's dream right now. Like, you know, hello, fellow introverts.
So when I was growing up, I definitely defined myself as an introvert that had a few extroverted tendencies. And then when I was in college and started working, I was teaching so many classes and I was spending so many of my hours of my day in front of people that I feel like I almost switched a little bit from an introvert to an extrovert. I have a lot more extroverted qualities, I think, now. But oh my goodness, the past few days, that introvert side of me that like is probably in my underlying like kind of programming of my mind, it's coming out strong. Like people are like trying to call me and talk to me and I'm just like, no. Yeah. I don't want to talk to you. My friends love my friends, but they're like, let's do like a virtual happy hour. And I want to talk to them. But there's a part of me that's like, I really just want to lie on my couch and watch The Office and not talk to anyone.
And that's okay.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's going to be finding that balance between who am I talking to and how long, and am I still allowing myself that alone time away from people? Just again, it's kind of finding that balance that's never truly an exact balance. It's just kind of filling up your cup however you need to.
I love that. Yeah, people, fill up your cup however you need to.
That's what self-care is. If you haven't listened to our self-care episode, now would be a great time.
It's called Self-Care, baby.
It's wonderful.
Episode number 3, season 1.
Woo! But really, I think there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and who knows, maybe in 2 weeks we have to do another update on this because maybe things will have changed again. But really, stay safe, take care of yourselves. I don't think that there are too many precautions to take, to be completely honest. I think that if you feel like you need to do something to keep yourself safe, then do it. It's all about peace of mind. And again, better be safe than sorry is kind of my motto right now. Do what you can to make yourself feel good. If you're feeling anxious, you are not the only one. Again, feel free to reach out. Maybe we can give you some of the things that have helped us. Maybe we could share them with you on an individual level. Maybe just talking to someone can help. And just do whatever you need in this time period. Like really take this time to connect with yourself. Are you someone that's going to need to stay productive? Are you going to want a little bit more rest? There's no right or wrong here. And just try to make the absolute best out of this situation that we possibly can. Because otherwise the alternative is being super negative and down the entire time. And that's not very fun.
Exactly. Yep. And there's communities out there that you can connect with and get the support if you are feeling really anxious and worried. We have a private Facebook group that offer, all this is talked about in there. We offer support and there's many other people in there. And so you can connect on there. You can find us on the links in show notes. Connect with us on Instagram at The Real Spoonies Unite. And yeah, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you're doing during this time of self-isolation and how you're coping and how you're feeling.
Yeah. And I also want to just mention that if you are really, really struggling and you feel like you need to talk to a professional, because again, Cassie and I are not officially therapists or Pilates instructors and unofficial therapists. And there's so many virtual resources to be able to get help. So make sure that you reach out if you need to.
100%. Like I said earlier, I had a Skype call with my counselor last week and it was totally great for my mental health. I have another one this Thursday. I am all for it, people. Go get freaking therapy. It's great shit.
Everyone needs it.
Everyone needs it. No shame.
Awesome. Well, again, reach out to us. We hope that you all are doing well and you are all staying safe. And just know deep down in your hearts and souls that no matter what, we will see the other side of this. It won't last forever. Things might be different, but it will not last forever. And we will all come out stronger on the other side.
That's right. We're all in this together, people.
Yep. All right. Well, goodbye, listeners. We cannot wait to be back in your ears later this week.
That's right. Wash your hands. Stay home.
Yes, please wash your hands.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please write us a review to help us reach more people like you.
If you'd like to connect with Cassie and I, you can find us on Instagram at The Real Spoonies Unite. You can also join our private Facebook community, Spoonies Unite, or you can visit our website, therealspooniesunite.com, for all sorts of resources and to stay up to date with our current projects. And don't worry, you can find all of these links in the show notes below.
Thank you to our wonderful Spoonie patrons for all your support, and you can become one too. That's right. All you have to do is go on over to patreon.com/therealspooniesunite, and you can get all sorts of extra goodies like videos of our episodes and more.
Any support is greatly appreciated. It helps enable us to create more content for all of you, as well as make this podcast sound better and better. Thanks for listening. We can't wait to be back in your ears soon.